here's what we're going to do today. We're going to test this thing, start our testing procedure at, well, it's a dirt bike. So we're going to race it. We're here at Tapped MX. They have a little series in the wintertime. We're going to put this bike on the track, see what it can do against the competitors. So we've got the GoPro. We'll get that set up, some of the video. So practice is coming up. This is going to be a really hard test for this bike. And the reason why is it's really cold. Like, I don't know what the actual temperature is, but hopefully you can see that. My breath is out there. It's cold for us. So that's kind of the Achilles heel for a lot of electric stuff. So we're really going to see where we're at. Starting out this morning, we are at 85, 86, 85.9. It flipped into 85, 86. So it's almost 100%. I'd say it's like 99% charge. So we'll go out there today, give it a whirl, and see exactly what we can do in this cold weather with an electric bike. All right, we were the last practice of the day, and I know the track looks primo because I was telling you, I was sitting on the side of the track looking at it going, oh, the track looks primo, but it is so muddy and snotty. It's been raining for like 2 days, and I haven't ridden this track in well over a year, and it's almost completely different. There's like 2 jumps in areas that are the same. The rest is almost all new, and you're going through these ruts, and they look hard, like you can actually rail them, but when you see that, it's just nothing but slop on top, and I really struggled, but not because of the bike. The bike tracked well, the bike pulled well. It was all just me not being comfortable with how these ruts were they just moved constantly, and the bike would climb up, and I just really struggled with this, but that doesn't take away anything from the bike. So this is practice, and as you can see, I didn't even like jump all the jumps during practice because I struggled so much. This right here, you're supposed to go from this single and land into these rollers, which I have done before, but it was just so muddy. The video, obviously, GoPro flattens everything. You don't see just how deep that stuff is and how sloppy it was. So I did struggle, but it did get better throughout the day, and we'll get into that here in a minute. All right, you saw practice. It's a muddy mess out there. I tried to ride in a level 3 to start with, thinking that would be helpful in the heavy, sticky mud, and I think it actually hurt me. It like wore me out faster. It was harder to control. So switch it down to level 2. Hopefully, like, you can hear me talking during it when I do that, but switch it down to level 2, and we'll see if that helps any during the race. I think there's like 6 people in my class. It was definitely slower than I've been in a long time, but it wasn't the bike at all. It was me. I don't think I hit but maybe one of the jumps. I mean, you'll see in practice, had nothing to do with the bike, because I don't think I'd have done any different on my 250F. So, moto coming up. We'll see how it goes against those bikes. Hopefully the track will dry out some. I like the ruts. The ruts are fine. I just struggle with the way that this dirt moves. So, definitely not doing the bike justice. So, you can hear my voice is a bit of a bummer, but this is our first test in real world situations. So get something to drink, get ready for moto number 10, because that's going to be us. All right, we got it set to mode 3 again. Mode 3 may be too much, but I like to see what it does on the start. Probably just light the tire up, but we'll see. We've got up to 8.5 amp hours, 4985. The revs are up and the gate goes. I get a decent jump. I'm really just kind of rolling over the gate. It wasn't super aggressive. Didn't know what the bike will do. Felt pretty good. You got to remember, and I'll talk about it later too, this is all 450s except for that dude right there on a 252 stroke. I did just go by him, and I had a good race. And one thing I really will say is good about the electric bike is, as you can see, I was able to take the inside ruts. Now I am in mode 3, that does become a problem later because once a track, when you hit the dry spots, they had so much traction that the bike just pulled out from underneath you. And me and this guy here battle quite a while as we go back and forth. I do catch him a few times, but the bike, not, I mean, obviously the Honda chassis is good, but the power from the electric bike was so planted. The amount of traction that it does put, I mean, I'm running the same tires I run on my bike, and there you go. I am not hitting all the jumps because I'm just not comfortable. So I did hit quite a few more. You see that right there as the race goes on. But me and this guy battle all the way to the end, just about, and it was a good race. So I did pull over or slow down here in a minute because Mode 3 just wore me out. It just hit so hard. I got around him, and then I just couldn't do it anymore. So then he goes by me after I do that on the second lap, I think it was, and then goes down. So I catch back up to him, and we battle all the way to the end, literally the final turn of the moto. But the dude's a pretty good rider, holds his lines well. We had a lot of fun, but the track is still super wet, still soupy. I know it's hard to tell, but what a great race! What a great moto this was. So I'm really happy with the bike. And right now I'm pushing it, but the Mode 3 is just about pulling my arms off when it gets traction. And here's what I was talking about. This is the final turn. I'm in front of him. He comes charging in as I kind of got swapped a little bit. I tried this outside line that I hadn't taken all day, or this inside of the outside, and I got in the loose stuff, and he pulls me. So I just check up. It was a good race. I got to talk with the guy. He's a cool guy. So let's see what I actually thought about it after the moto. All right, first moto is done. As you saw the video there, it was rough. I decided at the last minute, and I'm gonna put voiceover if I have to talk about it, but decided at the last minute to switch to level 3 because I just didn't want to give up anything on the start. I have this crazy belief that I'm actually good at starts, which I don't know if I am, but I believe I am. So I didn't want to give up anything. I thought it'd be really cool to rip a hole shot with my e-bike, but I did not rip said hole shot. Came out like 4th or 5th on the start, and then paid the price for level 3. It is a lot. It's fun. Level 3 is great, especially on like a sand track, something along those lines where you get wheel spin. But this track here, as you can see, it's kind of muddy, but under that mud and in that mud is a lot of traction. And so we start getting a little bit tired, and I start getting a little bit whiskey. Yeah, no other way to say it. I just kind of start getting whiskey throttle. So next moto, I'm gonna start on level 2, and then we'll see how that goes. We are charging up. I did get it all the way up to 85. So 85 volts, or yeah. And so from the charge between practice and the moto. So I haven't had to swap a battery yet. I do have a spare battery to swap in, but I haven't had to do that because it's been charging up just fine. I've got my little generator, and I got it running the Electro & Co. Lightning charger. And I don't even know if I need the Lightning charger because that little generator just will not produce enough to be able to get that thing up to the 17, what it'll do on 110, and it'll do even more on 220, but haven't figured out how to get 220 through a 110 plug yet. So I'll talk to them and figure that out. But so this is some good testing. It's very aggressive. I'm not jumping all the jumps, not because I can't. It's because I'm being a wussy. The ruts are real sloppy going through, and I'm struggling with that. So we'll next video you see will probably be moto number 2. I'm gonna run the chest mount again so you can see the handlebars, see the bike move. I'm gonna raise the camera up maybe to get a little bit more view over. And And thanks to my buddy Sean Hackley, we got some video of the start. He was very interested in the bike, so like I said, like I say, we're going to look at maybe building him one. I just, once again, just take off smoothly off the gate, get a really good jump against these guys on 450s, and come out third on this one. A pretty good solid third place on this one. There's a second place guy. Here in a second, I'll show you we can catch him. Kind of checks out a little bit as I'm getting used to the track. It's in much better conditions for me. I can ride this kind of stuff much better. I need to start doubling that, but I don't know the track that well. But second, what do you call it? Mode 2 is so much better. Here the guy comes by me. I'm in third right now, and then now push back to fourth. The same guy I was battling with before. Once again, to the inside, it just tracks so well. But, you know, he's on a 450. He's got a little bit more pull than what this bike has. It is so much like riding a 250F. So I don't jump that this time. I go to the inside. I am hitting everything this race. So it's the track's much better. Bike gets over everything really well. It doesn't feel like I'm landing as hard as what it looks like, but the ruts are a little more embedded in. So I'm following him. He gets by second place and moves into second. That guy right there is the second place rider. I'll work my way around him here and put chase to the guy I was battling with. Now I've got him in my sights right there, and I'm slowly catching up to him. And right here is where I have an issue that I'll talk about. I get cross-rutted, whiskey throttle, brake check, and then when I land full-on wide open throttle, and the bike cuts out. Kill it, start it back up. I did it twice. I don't know why I did it twice, but I did. Got going, didn't lose a spot. So we'll cover that here in our post-race breakdown. Didn't turn out too bad. I got fourth place out of 7 riders, I believe. And wow, what a great weekend of racing. A lot of people are going to ask, like, what the differences are. That's what I've got quite a few people asking me, what the difference between racing this and racing an internal combustion or an ICE bike is. And I'd have to say one of the biggest things that I really noticed as far as advantages to this was the fact that it just tracks so well. The way the electric motor puts the power down, you were able to modulate it with the throttle pretty well. I may drop a tooth in the back just to get a little bit more over rev out of it. I talked about it before. I raced that whole second moto in mode 2. Mode 3 was just too much. There was too much traction, and the track was extremely rough. I can't even talk. The track was extremely rutted, muddy during the beginning of the day. So the ruts were like very grabby. The dirt was very grabby. Had plenty of power for everything. I don't know if the video caught it, which we will see as I do the edit. I whiskey throttled up the face of one of the jumps and just straight boner aired. And I had my very first issue I've had with this bike. When I landed so hard, and I was on the throttle so hard that I believe it over amped, and the controller like amped out, and it just shut the bike down. Wasn't anything dangerous. I just landed, and then there was just nothing. And I like rolled the top of the jump, flipped it off, flipped it back on. It came right back to life, and I was good to go. I didn't even lose a spot, but I did lose an opportunity for a second place in that moto, and the guy got away. Now, the rider I was racing against, I got to meet him. We talked a lot. We had so much fun. He, I don't think I was going to catch him. He's on a 450. And if he'd have made a mistake, I believe I could have got around him. But unfortunately, he didn't make a mistake, and I had that issue. So good on him. I believe he got second overall in because he went 2-3-2 in that anyways. And me going 4-4 for a fourth overall is not bad for the very first time riding this. I haven't raced in, man, it's been a while since I've raced. And this makes me want to race again. This bike just does that. It's just fun. It reminds me of a 125 as far as bringing the fun back. I had one instance where I was going over a roller that I actually reached down with my foot out of habit and clicked up in the air, but there was nothing to click up. Other than that, the transition over to the electric bike has been pretty flawless. So, I mean, I don't know as far as how the passing grade this gets. It gets a 100 for me. I um I loved every minute of it. Is it as competitive as a 450? If you're a 450 rider who, as you can see in the videos, the main guy that I was racing against, 513 I think was his number. He would go through the ruts. Man, I'm yawning because I'm exhausted. It was a lot of work today, but he would go through the ruts and then just hit the throttle after the ruts and just up the face of the jump. I believe that's possible with this bike. You'd have to be riding in 3, and I don't like riding that way. I've never been a rider that rides that way. I've always ridden just carrying momentum through sections and hitting jumps with momentum. I believe it's a better way to ride. Now on the start, we have a video of the start. I'd like to thank Sean Hackley. He got to ride this bike. He's fallen in love with it. I think we're going to build him one. But he got a video of the start. I didn't even know what the start was going to be like. So both times I just kind of went. I do need some practice. A whole shot device would be nice to hold the front end down so I could sit back a little farther. But I was able to just carry momentum all the way through the first corner. And those guys were all fighting for the inside. And I had a good line on them around the outside. I think I came out 4th on there on the start, and second or third, and somewhere around that in the second one. I think 3rd on the second moto. So this is against 450s. Most of those vet guys, almost all of them, except for the guys riding 2-strokes, were on 450s. So that tells you the scope of the power of this thing coming off the line. It's amazing. So, anyways, it was a fun video. We'll be doing 0 to 60 runs. We'll be doing more tests here shortly. This was like a impromptu video. It wasn't really even part of what I was planning to do, but had an opportunity to go race, and I just decided to go do it. But I appreciate everybody for watching, and yeah, 4th place.